So today I'm joined once again by $1 Million Crolla, who's not stopped fidgeting with his fantastic hair, but he's settled his hands down now. We're ready to go. And the future world champion, Tasha Jones. How are you, gang?
Good. Oh, good. Good to be here. Good to be with you, Rich.
So, the return of Lomachenko this weekend, somebody you know very, very well, coming off Bakari's defeat to Lopez. What do you think?
First of all, I'm really glad to see him back. And I've said, I think since that fight, it's just, I found it really bizarre. I don't know what Tash thinks and yourself, but the way there's this Four Kings thing that's come up, what doesn't include him. You know, he lost a close fight to Lopez. He's been unbelievable. He's been right near the top of everyone's pound for pound list the last few years. And now he loses a close fight to an unbelievable fighter like Teofimo Lopez. And he's suddenly not one of the Four Kings. Listen, it'll be interesting to see him back. Good opponent. I watched him beat Felix Verdejo last time out. And obviously Verdejo was going to be one of the, heir to the throne, like at one point. I know he's had a few ups and downs since, but to beat him, it's still a fantastic win. So Lomachenko's not coming up with an easy fight, coming back with an easy fight, which he never has done sort of throughout his career, but happy to see him back. And I'm interested to see if he can get these big fights he still wants.
What do you think, Tash? Is this a fight that you think's just kind of, look, that Japanese, Nakatani's got a great record, hasn't he, on paper? Is it a fight to ease him back into it, or do you think they're putting him back in with a real test?
I mean, we're talking about the guy who went for the title in his first ever pro fight. So no, I don't think he wants an easy test. He's never had it easy. He's done everything asked of him, amateur and pro, and excelled. And like Han said, it's mad that, that's how fickle boxing is and the fans are, is that like, he's now out of the scene. How is that possible? He was on like pound for pound number 2 before the Lopez fight, and now I don't even think he lists in the top 10. How does that happen?
I think
like that old song, innit? What did you do for me lately?
Yeah. Honestly, I think a big problem is people trying to push him out because the other champions, they still don't want to fight him. So I honestly say, I think if you matched him against any of them, Lopez maybe aside, let's not forget, he had a good second half of the fight. He would probably start favourite against most people in this weight and the weight above and the weight below.
And back to some heavyweight shenanigans, the division that just keeps on giving. AJ versus Usyk, it's definitely done. Then it's probably going to get done. Then it's just about to be signed. And here we are, how many weeks later, it's still not signed. What is happening?
I think, maybe I sound gullible, I think it's almost done in the sense that it's...
And you sound like me.
I know, I do, Tash, but I think what it is AJ was on Sky Sports News yesterday saying how it's happening, how, you say good fight, but he doesn't offer nothing that he's not seen before. So I think to be doing those interviews, on the platform, like where you think the fight's going to be on, and then it not to happen, it wouldn't make sense. But I think not much in boxing has made sense lately. But so I do believe it's near, and I've said it for a bit. I think it's one of the best fights that can be made in the heavyweight division. It's a tough fight for AJ. We've spoke about either him or Tyson losing, both not in gimme fights whatsoever. But certainly with this, I think, Usyk has got the style, the movement to cause AJ problems. And fair play to him again. It's a fight. A lot of people question whether he'd give up the title. He's not. But we don't think he's going to. And he's picking the third toughest fight out there in the heavyweight division, in a lot of people's opinion.
Were you surprised, Tash, and it surprised me a little bit when AJ said he's not going to do anything that I've not seen before, or words along that line? Do you know what I mean? That he like, yeah, I'm boxing Usyk, but he's, he can't do anything I've not seen before.
A little bit, because I mean, as an amateur and the levels that he got to, like you do go to competitions almost every month, and you fight different people in competition, different styles, and different countries tend to have a certain way of boxing. So I get what he's saying, but then Usyk was a standout. There's good boxers, and then there's elite, and then there's standout ones like your Lomachenkos, like your Usyks, like your Camarellis, all them that there's some of the Cubans that you can't compare them to just good boxers because they're so far ahead. I think stylistic wise, he has come from a lower weight. So whether AJ means that he doesn't think he can hurt him, but stylistic wise and movement wise, it could cause a lot of problems.
Are we having an early pick, Anne? Are we having an early shout? Are we having a pre-bet?
I don't really want to because I can change my mind, Rich. I said was that I just lean towards AJ's size being a big problem, but I think Usyk has got the style to cause him nightmares. I think people watch Chisora Usyk and they think, Chisora pushed him, so he did. AJ can't. No, AJ and Chisora are very different. Derek's relentless stylistically. He'd keep coming all night. AJ would do it a little bit different, I think. Listen, early pick is AJ, but I'm not confident in it whatsoever. I'm not like this is my biggest worry in stopping AJ and Tyson. I think it's a really tough fight, but I respect AJ massively for taking it when realistically could easily step to the side or give this title up and then go for a fight with Dillian White, whether it. But Lord, listen, you could fight almost anyone. I'm not saying that's an easy fight by any means, but Usyk stylistically is a very tough fight for AJ, in my opinion. I don't know about you two.
Dash?
No, I've got to agree. I'm probably a little bit more confident that he'll win because I just don't think at this stage he'd take something so risky if he wasn't fully confident in himself. But yeah, it could be a long night. It might even be a boring one because, I think in Josh's last few fights, he's shown things that he would need against these type of styles. He's shown his patience. He's shown that he can stick to the game plan. He's shown all them things. And I think they're what you'd need to fight your Fioris and to fight your Usyks, because you can't just, you can't just go there with, I'm going to knock them out. And it doesn't work like that with them. They're a bit more switched on. And like I said, a bit ahead of the rest of the class.
Yeah, look, I think, I expect AJ to win, but I see him getting caught in early, first half of fight. I see him getting caught, not plenty, but, I can see Usyk having good success. But I just think, like you just said, Anne, I just think as fight goes on, once you get to like 8, 9, 10, his weight going to make a big difference. Yeah,
and catch up with Usyk. I told you, I know a lot of the Usyk team said, like, they were pretty vocal on it. At heavyweight, they fancy the chances against anyone. They see Fury as the hardest fight, but they're very confident against anyone else.
Yeah, be interesting. Look, in it in a risky fight under circumstances, so I'll be interested to see that one. So we're all in agreement. We're all going AJ, but with no degree.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned earlier, Eddie's gone to DAZN, and Sky have announced a new deal with Top Rank and Boxer. Did you see that one coming, Tash, or is that a bit of a bolt out of blue? What do you think to that deal?
Well, I think we all knew that they were going to get somebody else because they'd committed themselves to boxing, which was great. And they've committed themselves in a massive way as well. I think we all thought it was going to be Wassman. I think that was the rumour around the boxing mill on the grapevine. And it turned out it wasn't. It turned out to be Boxer and Top Rank. And I think it just provides a lot of opportunities for other boxers now. I don't think Matchroom will, have the platform that they did, because Sky is a huge institution and platform here in the UK. And like Anne said earlier, it's one of them things that most people get for the football anyway. So it's something that you've already got. Once you've got it for the football, you've got it for the boxing. So people will just casually switch over, and you got your Sky Sports News, your Sky News. It's huge.
Yeah. I mean, one thing you mentioned, didn't we, Anne, last week? When you think there's going to be DAZN, BT, and Sky and bits on Channel 5, is there enough boxers in England now to service at an high level?
No,
channel?
There is for sure. I think there's so many fighters who want work, and I always say the same: the more shows, the more work for the fighters, the better for the sport. It's just getting out there. I think sort of going back to what Tash says there, I think there's no denying, like, I think everywhere you go nearly, whether you be abroad, whether you be in a gym, Sky Sports News on, so that platform's constantly pushing things. At the minute, that's why I think, and listen, I respect Eddie and Matchroom for doing it. At the minute, there's no denying bigger platform is. But as we said earlier, the way the world's going, it could end up being very different. Like we spoke about, how your daughters are there, they're on a tablet, they're on the phone, they're watching things on there. There's very few people now, or few families will all be sitting watching television. But I think, like Tash said also, I think it seemed almost nailed on that Wasserman was getting the deal. So Ben Shalom and Boxer, from like the UK side of things, it was a massive shock. Like I say, I know Ben personally, and I didn't expect it. I know he's I've worked some of them. The platform with the Boxer, which is very similar to the prize fighter. Well, it is sort of the same as the prize fighter format. Some great nights, and he'd bring a lot of entertainment in with it as well. So I'd be interested to see if we're going to see more shows like that. Also, if Boxer is going to look to sign a good stable of fighters to be putting on regular shows. But no, I say it all the time. And also it opens up to other promoters, to get their fighters work on that platform. I say it all the time. The fact that they're staying involved in boxing, Sky Sports, is a great thing for boxing, and hopefully sports fans in general.
I think as well, like sometimes with Matchroom, there was a select few that they pushed to get to, that world level, and then we kind of forgot about the domestic scene. And there's a chance to capitalize on that. I don't know if that's the plan, but there's lots of great fights domestically here. But we've been trying to push a select few to get to them world honours instead of concentrating on domestically on our own. And I think if they could capitalize on that, there's some great fights out there.
So then, talking of dates and fights and shows all coming up, a certain Ms. Jones has got a fight coming up here quite soon. Yeah,
I'm on week 3 of fight camp. So I'm back in Eddie's Garden where the scene of the crime was last time. And hope I win and get myself back into the title contention. But, you've just got to deal with what's happening. It's 14th of August, fight camp, week 3.
Have there any opponents in mind, or have you got anybody you're keeping a close eye on, or is anybody being proposed yet, or is it down to a couple of names? I don't want to name. Don't panic. We're not. Me and Crolla aren't trying to.
There's been a couple of names sent over. And we've agreed a few and sent back. So yeah, whichever one they come forward, and whichever one, at these times, who can come, who passes a test, who does this. So you'll never know until like a couple of days before, until you're in the bubble.
Tash, have you been told if it's going to be a 6 or 8 rounder?
It was initially going to be a 10, but I think now it's going to be an 8, because obviously a 10's championship rounds for us.
Of course.
So yeah, it's going to be an 8.
8 rounder, and then another crack at the world title. 3rd time lucky, and Natasha Jones becomes world champion.
Wow, what a story.
Livingston Woods 4 goes, and he got there in the end, so you're only on 2, so you can easily, you've got every chance.
Cheers.
So, and we've got to touch on this one. Knockout at weekend without any shadow of a doubt. As I put it on my Twitter, when hell comes calling, Beck the Bully got bullied with just an awful. That's the only way to
it was
from hell. What did you think?
Do you know what? When you say he got bullied, he was actually doing the bullying, because he put Gabby Rosado down in the first round, and it looked as if he was going that way. And then the right hand that he landed Rosado, it was a proper home run. Do you know what it was like? Honestly, I know it might sound uneducated here. Do you know the punch machines, when someone sticks a pound in a punch machine, runs up and lets this big haymaker go? It wasn't far off that. It was honest, like, I'd be surprised if we see a better knockout this year for sure. And do you know what? It's a nice Rosado's been unlucky a lot of time. If you look at his record, there's quite a lot of losses on there, but he's a real fighter, and he's been in with the best. Listen, just fell short against Jacobs, didn't he? But he's been in with so many top fighters, and I believe now there's a good chance he could get another shot. I mean, I know they're talking about, was it Mungai they was talking about?
Yeah.
There's another shot, but listen, he'll always be in good fights. But yeah, what a knockout!
What do you think, Tash? Did you see? You don't want too many of them on a Saturday night, do you?
No, you definitely don't. And like I said, his record is a bit deceiving. He's had a few close ones with a few people, and it was just good to see. Good to see. Well, not for the other person, but it was good to see him get the win and get the knockout. And what a punch! What a punch! I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that in for my world title and just being over.
Do you know a knockout as heavy as that? Because it was like watching a car. It was like watching a car where you got hit. How does he bounce back from that, do you think?
Well, listen, as bad as that, we've seen quality fighters get knocked out in bad knockouts, knocked out unconscious before, and come back to win world titles, to be in many great fights. And I'm not saying that he can't do it, but I don't care, unless you're not all mentally there. You've got to be a little bit gun shy when, I don't mean in sparring when the big gloves are on, but when he comes back and that first fight getting hit with those smaller gloves on, there's got to be that worry where you might just take for him to take a good shot and, right, I can tick it off now. Because it doesn't matter who you are, say, oh no, I won't be thinking about it. But I think you won't know till you get hit with small gloves again what kind of effect it's had. And it also, listen, it's a lesson that he's got to learn from it, and as in, rushing in, walking onto a shot like that, because realistically, as good as the shot it was, you shouldn't be getting hit at that level with a big haymaker right hand like that. So obviously, I think he's just got to take the lessons from it. But I think, will it ruin him? We won't know until, maybe not one fighting, because that should be a nice comeback fight, but we won't know until a handful of fights down the line, possibly.
Do you think Tashik's beneficial is not the right word to use, but he weren't getting knocked about, like Ant says, he'd already knocked him down, he were on top. He didn't get beat up, he weren't taking a bit of a pacing, he weren't getting marked up. It's just like being hit by lightning in it and bang. I think it's more beneficial for him to come back that it's like that. It's just that one shot and that's it, it's over. There were no, there's no flashbacks, just 1 minute he stood there, next minute he's not.
No, not really. I mean, no one wants to be knocked out, and especially in that manner. But I don't want to just keep repeating what Ant says, because I keep saying, oh yeah, like Ant said. But there's two things you'll get from a fight. It's a blessing or a lesson, and he's just got the lesson, and you've just got to literally take it on the chin. And I don't even mean the pun with that, but you have.
Yeah.
And if you don't learn from it, and you're not a little bit more cautious the next time, then you haven't learned your lesson. So yeah, I mean, you just got to take it for what it is. You can't let it scar you forever, but you have to learn what went wrong and build from that.
Yeah. Well, listen, if we see a better knockout this year, if we see a better knockout than that, then the drinks are on me.
I don't think we will.
Yeah, put money on that.
Yeah, but I remember that bit's recorded. But the one other thing I was going to say was, with that kind of knockout, he's going to see a lot of it. He's going to see himself knocked unconscious for the next few years. So I think mentally he's got to be strong to accept it as well. Yeah,
rest of his career, and before every fight he has forward, they're going to play that knockout and say, how's this going to affect him? And it's then, like you said, mentally coming to terms with that.
Yeah.
And also, to be fair, that it happened to me against Obanov, and ever since that, like I said, I took the lesson. It was a hard lesson and a hard pill to swallow, but I've improved and got better from that. So that's just what you have to do. And it's boxing. You can unfortunately get hit with them shots.
Yeah, well, you can, and he certainly did. I mean, it were just a stunning knockout, weren't it? Stunning. And talking of things that are stunning, but not in a good way, mate. A bit of bad news for you last week.
Yeah.
BC, as things moving along there, pal? Any good news to share?
Yeah, so obviously, for the gym to be involved in a fire twice in 15 months, it's hard to take. It's very hard to take, and that's to let everyone know. Listen, there's no foul play. It was just the football club next door, the changing rooms. There was a cable to do with like the water pump or something like that. That's like, and the fires passed through, and it's hard as well because so much of the equipment is salvageable, but we dealt with like the roof there's a massive rewire. The roof needs a lot of work done. So we've now found out the building is not going to be knocked down, which I'm really happy about because that means we're being quicker, but there's still a bit of a process. And, I think the amateur club was absolutely booming. There was a few schools that were starting the week of it. it was the worst possible time. And then even from professional fighters, now I'm constantly here, there, and everywhere. Not to have a base. I think what we're trying to do now is get some kind of marquee in a mobile gym. So we've got something that's more for the kids, if I'm honest. But yeah, really tough to take. However, you've got to stick with it and done it. We've rebuilt it once, so we'll do it again. It won't be as big this time, as in like big as of a job. But you've just got to stick with these things. Just bad luck, and that's all there is to it. And look forward to everything getting done again, bigger and better than ever. But yeah, massively frustrating.
Yeah, well, look, you've done it once, mate, haven't you? And built it back up, and
yeah,
not do it again.
We will do it again for sure.
Me and Tasha are going to put a few quid in together and buy you a big horseshoe, to hang over the door just to get a bit of good luck.
Mate, I thought you was going to say you was going to help with a clear up, but the horseshoe will do.
Horseshoe, yeah, horseshoes as far as I can go.